think there's something really shocking to me that 56% of marriages end in divorce. And yet it's assumed that it's something you should do. And to add to that, that 86% of people who get divorced are remarried within 5 years of their divorce. Now, that statistic's even more shocking to me, but also indicative of the fact that, like, there's something to this. There's something in us that wants it. Like, there's something in us that goes, yeah, no, but I want that. Like, if I told you there's a 56% chance you're going to get hit in the head with a bowling ball when you walk out of the door, you're not going to walk out, or you're going to wear a helmet. But marriage, like, of course, like, I mean, oh, of course you're going to get married. Everyone's going to get married. Why wouldn't you get married? You're not going to get married. You must have intimacy issues. And what? Are you kidding? 56%, guys. That's crazy. You know, there's people that go, I won't go skydiving because there's a 1 in whatever tens of thousands chance. Okay, this is a 56% chance that it's going to fail to the level that you quit. Forget the another, 10, 20% that stay together miserable for the kids because they don't want to give away half their shit. So now you got a technology fail 76% of the time. That's crazy. And yet, I get it. I get it. I go to weddings. I get misty-eyed at weddings. I love it. I love cheering for them. I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course you try. Give it a try.
Have divorce rates gone up in your career since you started?
They've gone up and down. I mean, I've been doing it 25 years. So when I started, they were at a high because the economy was at a high. And it's very interesting. Like, moderation is actually good for marriage. Like, boredom is in like a societal way, boredom is really good for marriage. Like, when things go really badly, you know, there's a spike in the divorce rate because it's like people lose their jobs and people, you know, but there's also the counterbalance of nothing unites like a common enemy. So like in the early months of COVID, there was no divorce filings happening because everyone was like, oh my God, you know, we got to keep it together. And like the kids are home and we got to figure that out. And, you know, but then there was, of course, after COVID, you know, restrictions changed. There was a massive spike in the divorce rate. And some of that is that people were like, hey, I said for better or for worse, I didn't say for lunch. But, you know, some of that is also that there was economic stress that were placed on things. And when the economy is in a boom, when I started in the early 2000s, the economy was in a boom. It was before the subprime crisis hit. The real estate market was going through the roof. Everybody's house was worth more money than you could imagine. And you could go into a bank with a piece of crayon and say, I need a loan. And they'd be like, here's $1 million against your house. Here's a third home equity line against your house. And so money was going crazy. So people were like, hey, listen, I can afford to leave. I can afford to give you half. Okay, I'm going. Or they're running around having affairs, having a good time because they had money to pay for the hotels or pay for the girlfriend's jewelry. So, you know, I am in a recession-proof industry. It's fascinating. When the economy's good, we're busy. When the economy's bad, we're busy. When the economy kind of stays mellow, then we're still busy, but we're not as crazy busy, let's say.
Wow. And what are the main triggers and causes of divorce? And maybe are there a couple of silent ones in there that catch people off guard?
Yeah, I mean, the big things that people talk a lot about are the sort of nail in the coffin final marriage killers like adultery, infidelity, you know, financial impropriety and financial stress. Those are the big marriage killers. But I've always said that those are a symptom, not the underlying illness. The underlying illness, in my opinion, is disconnection. That people we fall in love really fast. And it's like an instant connection, attraction, all those wonderful things. And then we fall out of love. You know, it's kind of like, you know, how do people go bankrupt? Very slowly and then all at once. You know, and that's kind of how people fall out of love is they go very slowly, they disconnect and they start to fall apart. And then at some point, something just pushes it. And it's like, that's that final, you know, like it's the final raindrop responsible for the flood. It's the final, like there is a snowflake that lands on the branch that snaps the branch. That snowflake is no heavier than any other snowflake. It was just the final one that was heavy enough. So you could point at that snowflake and go, man, that snowflake broke the branch. No, all the snowflakes broke the branch.